browsing, but it's like it goes in the years. It says 99. I think it starts at 99 for Trinity, or maybe no 97. And but it's not like from 97 or 98. It's like very. I don't understand it. Like it's inaccurate. Because if you look at some of the car kits from 99 or 97, it says available in 99. So the page was from 99, but it's in the 97 uh 97 slot. It's really weird. I didn't understand it because I was trying to find certain things and I could not do it. But it's interesting because you can go over here, click on. It's like you're actually on the website, like, but it crashes a lot too.
Yeah,
I
I've
noticed
noticed
that.
that.
Yeah. Now I can't even get it to bring anything up.
Yeah, what I had
Oh,
happen when I was looking at it was there was times I would click on it to look at our page and it would be missing a bunch of stuff. And
yeah.
then I would like go to another one like another day and pick up, on another day and then like things would all be there.
Ah,
So that's kind of how I went, and I did like a screenshot of like every one of our variations of our website one day, and you might want to talk about what we're actually talking about, but it's when we were using this Wayback Machine, right?
yeah.
Going online, hitting the Wayback Machine, and looking at old websites. So I went back and I did a screenshot of all the variations of the J Concept site, which was a lot more than I really kind of remembered, to be honest. Um, there might have been like seven. There's like seven or somewhere between 7 and 10 variations. I went and I did a screenshot of. Pretty interesting, but it's a lot of work over
Yeah.
the years. It really brought back doing that. It kind of brought back a lot of memories, which is kind of what you're doing here, looking back at some of the old Trinity
Yeah, I've been on this
sites.
for hours. Um 245 Radio Impound Podcast. I'm your host, Scotty Jr. And with me, safe from being bought out by Horizon, is the CEO of J Concepts, Jason Rona. What's up, Jason?
How we doing, Gotti?
Pretty good. Yeah.
That's right. I got my shirt on here. You got me
Oh,
into
you have the
this.
LA Night shirt on. I did not even notice. You're gonna have to stand up there and show everybody the LA Night.
Yeah, we'll have to back up here a little bit.
Jason's a big.
LA
Look, I got
Night.
him back. I got him watching wrestling now. Look at that. LA Night. Money in the Bank tomorrow. And
Honestly, I haven't
heavy
watched
favorite.
anything other than the YouTube clips that you turned me on to, watching the him doing some trash talk. So we had a lot of fun with it the last week. You know,
You like that character though.
yeah, we had a lot of fun with it in the chat, and it's kind of a combination of a few old characters. It kind
Right.
of feels like a little retro-ish of a personality. So yeah, we had some fun with it a lot this week, and we were kind of giving Kirby a hard time about it.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna really get into us on that.
But
So yeah. Uh Saturday, Jason, are you gonna watch the Money in the Bank on Saturday? It's at 3 p.m.
is 3 p.m.
3 p.m. because they're in London.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got to remind me. Do I have to buy the network again or something?
Uh no, well you have the Peacock app already, right?
I guess. I don't know.
I'll have to give you my username and password.
Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I think we have Peacock because I think we were watching The Office.
Mhm.
We were watching the Office on there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
And
go.
I think that's where it was. So if we do have that, you just go on there and you should be able to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go under a little section that says WWE, click on that, and then it'll be boom.
Okay.
Actually, you probably won't have to click on it. As soon as you log into Peacock, it'll be the first thing you see tomorrow.
Yep.
So, and
Be
LA
pumping it.
Knights, a big favorite to win the Money in the Bank. So let's go.
Yeah. I mean, when you had me watching some of those video clips, and then I went off on my own tangent watching a few, and when you read the comments, it's amazing how much support the guy has. And so yeah, like you said, it'll be interesting to see how they decide to set that
Yeah.
up, because he obviously has a lot of good momentum.
Yeah. Yeah. Kean White, No Name RC Podcast. Checking in. He can't get Peacock where he's at.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay.
So no Money in the Bank for him.
I
I've
guess
never
you could.
watched I've never watched a Money in the Bank. I've never watched any of
Until
these things.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't even know how it works. I'm gonna be as like, I mean, I've seen like there's just these hanging
What do you?
cases.
Oh, you mean you don't? Okay. Yeah. You don't know how the. All right.
Yeah, like I just see there's these hanging cases with like a ladder, and I'm sure somebody's got to land on somebody, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No Money in the Bank for Kean. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Kean. That's a shame. No Peacock. You think that'd be worldwide?
You'll have to hear it on the interwebs.
Yeah. You'll have to.
What happens?
Yeah. Or wait till the latest issue of Pro Wrestling Magazine comes out in 3 months, and then you'll get the results.
That's right.
So, for those of you listening on the audio version, I have the old Trinity website pulled up on my Wayback Machine. And this one is from 98, I believe it was. And like I was telling you, Jason, it's pretty interesting. You could click on some of this stuff. You can go to. Too bad you can't go into Tech Talk anymore. That'd be really cool.
Oh man.
But you click on this here. It says car. Look at this. Car kits.
Okay.
Serial killer, street weapon conversion, Switchblade
What a nightmare
10S2.
that car was.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys didn't like that car.
No.
But
Well,
yeah.
it was like, to
So,
me, it was like a really bad car converted
Mhm.
to an even worse car.
Oh no, this is 2000. This is 2000. This one.
Yeah, which makes sense because that picture of Kinwald with the broom is from the '99 Nationals,
99.
and
All right.
then that serial conversion was around 2000, I think. So
Tech Talk won't let me click on this. So yeah, obviously going down the nostalgic highway here today. Big news everybody knows about Trinity being sold to Horizon.
yeah, it seems like everybody, that's like kind of the topic of conversation today on the internet.
Seems like it.
Facebook kind of lighting up with all that. Everybody's
Yeah, my
got a
phone was
take,
lighting
right?
up today about it, and I'm like, oh, hey. So the news finally dropped. We knew about this.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously, it's kind of a little weird for me to talk about. Um, just, I don't,
Jimmy
because you
Simmons
don't,
checking in the chat. He says it was a giant shock to him.
yeah, I just, it's tough to talk about this kind of stuff because there's so much hearsay, and you don't really, it's hard to do everybody justice in any of these things because you don't know all the story. right? But at the end of the day, what are you going to do with Trinity? Um, if Ernie passed away, like as he has, um, and if your immediate family doesn't want to run it in the capacity he was running it in, or um, the direction uh, they didn't want to be involved, then something's got to give, right?
Right.
So, um, so somewhere along those lines is probably the situation where the family doesn't uh, have the passion for that business and maybe doesn't want to be a part of it, and it's easy to kind of move on from it. Um, and then at the same time, I think everyone always assumes that all these companies are doing so well financially that it is entirely up to them. You know what I'm trying to say?
No.
Well, you know,
Oh, so you're
maybe,
thinking, I know what you're saying. You're saying like everybody assumes that everything financially is great. Um,
and you just decide to
Angelina's just
sell.
going to take over and it's just going to keep going and going.
Yeah, and
Smooth transition.
maybe there is a financial burden to running these companies like this, um, and they don't want to be involved in that. Maybe you're not seeing a profit, or maybe you're not seeing the reason to continue it the way it's going, and you feel like it doesn't have a great future with you doing it, so you might as well, hand it to somebody that has a plan for it. So um, I think there's probably a lot of different considerations here that you have to think about.
Um, yeah, I know in the past Ernie has, when I spoke to Ernie, because I thought Nick would probably be eventually the one to take over his son.
Hmm.
And I guess there just really wasn't any interest there. And, and I don't think the daughters just, didn't really, obviously didn't want to run it. So um,
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's
that's where
also
I felt it was going to
everybody.
head.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody also assumes that all these things are making all this kind of money, and why would somebody want to sell it or get out of it? But you don't know. Everybody doesn't know all the story, right? That might not be the case, and maybe she could have been doing a favor to the brand by passing it along,
Mm.
passing the brand along to someone else, and kind of going about it that way. And if you look at the actual press release from Horizon that they released, because that actually just came out, and it says that it part of the information in the press release, it states that it allows the brand to keep moving forward, and it keeps the brand alive. So that was part of the Horizon press release. So there's a little bit of, I'm sure there's a little bit of truth in there, right?
I guess. I don't like it, man. I feel sad today for some, just, I was a little bummed out. You feel like the whole, I don't know, just feel like a lot was taken from you when you heard that. Hard to explain.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
mean,
what
especially
I'm
when we
trying
were
to
there,
do,
like,
what I'm trying to do is try to play. What I'm trying to do is play the devil's advocate of the internet
yeah,
thoughts, right? That's what I'm trying to say is maybe there's a different story here than what's being portrayed online. Maybe there's something else to it, and um, it's not all these things. I'm sure aren't as easy and as simple as people think they are. So I think if, for instance, I thought about this earlier. Um, for instance, I thought about this earlier, Gotti, was what if the best service to Ernie is that the brand and the name does stay around, right?
Mm, right.
And if, and as opposed to the name and the brand not being around anymore. Maybe those were the two options, right? Maybe the
Yeah.
two options were either the brand and the name is going to stick around or it's not. And this keeps the brand and the name around. And I think to me, uh, I would think Ernie would want the name and the brand to be around. That's probably an important thing. So I don't think anybody walked in to this situation and said, hey, here's $20 million for this company. It's like a big Horizon stepped in and said, hey, here's $20 million. See you later, everybody. I don't think that was necessary. That's not the situation in this business, I don't think. So, um, because I think if you look at what Horizon has in their brands and in their lineup, they don't really need it, right? There's no real need. There's really not a big need to have Trinity in their lineup. So the way I look at that is they probably got it for kind of a song and dance.
Can you repeat that,
And
Jason? You're kind
you're
of
like,
broken
hey,
up.
well,
Oh, Jason, get off your 5G and go Wi-Fi. Just put the Wi-Fi on, see what happens. Jason was having issues earlier potting from home. And Jason disappeared. Justin Doyle, Jason's so wise. Yeah, Jason, there he's back now.
yep.
There you go. Some issues, not the strongest connection there at home, but we'll do what we can. So
Yeah, what I was saying is if you look up and down Horizon's brands, they don't need really Trinity. So there'd be no real reason for them to just go in with some crazy offer to buy it. So, you know, I'm I'm sure that they probably got it for a song and a dance, and it just it works. They can work it into the company, but they don't have to have it. So that's
man,
my
that just hurts though. I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad I was there when it was like Kirby was saying today. We were there at its prime. I mean,
yeah, you were.
the company was big. Man, it was just an amazing time.
Yeah,
And
and it was also part of, well, you guys are there probably late '90s. I think we were kind of talking about it one day. What was probably the golden era, the golden days, or the top time of being there. But I would have to guess early to mid '90s, probably 93, 94, 95, probably in that range. I would have to guess were probably the best years in the business, and probably, trailed into the late '90s, I would guess.
oh yeah,
Um,
into the early 2000s. I mean, we were 98 especially. It was
mhm.
huge.
So I would say those are probably the golden times. You're talking about something that, they left New Jersey and moved to Florida
Yeah,
in
that's
a couple days.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Yep.
that's not something you do when you're extremely healthy.
Right. That's when it started going down.
You know
And
what I
and
mean?
actually Ernie was on the pod explaining all that. So I mean, at the time he was going through a tough divorce and and plus moving the company to Florida. So a lot of things were changing, a lot of things happened. His health at the time, um,
Hmm.
so he wasn't able to spend as much time because I saw somebody in the comments say it's like running a business. Well, you know how it is. You're constantly working. You
Hmm.
know what's the saying? You work 100 hours a week, so you don't have to work 40. So, I mean, Ernie just couldn't devote a lot of the time there, so it slipped up a little. But yeah,
the
those
the
right
the
before they left.
driving
Hmm.
the driving parts of all these type of things are the people with the passion, right? And if you don't have the passion for it, then it's not going to continue the same way that it was. And I think probably one of the, as a lot of people pointed out online, one of the great things that the Trinity that they're a part of now, they were never a part of the 90s Trinity, the people that are commenting online. Not for the most, but not everybody. But I guess what I'm trying to say is the new Trinity that the drivers are commenting online, they're really part of the generation, the Florida Trinity
Right.
generation. They're not really a
Absolutely.
part of. They're not really a part of the New Jersey based Trinity with the Kinwald and Matt Francis era and the crazy ads and RC car action and sort of the Empire type of
Evil empire.
mentality.
Yep.
Yeah, the type of mentality that was a whole different generation, which is the one you like and love and the one that you were a part of. You were really never a part of the Florida version, and I think what um, my generation of Trinity is the one that you're familiar with, right?
Yep.
That was the generation of Trinity that I was a little more accustomed to. The generation from Florida, and then bringing Kevin Abbott in, working there and developing these relationships. And really, it was a much different Trinity, I feel, than the one that you were a part of in New Jersey. It was sort of the kinder, gentler version of Trinity, I
Oh, that's a good way to
feel.
put it. Yeah.
Um, and I think that's why Kevin has so much support online, and because he kind of brought some passion to the table, right? He had the passion for the products and the racing and the individuals he was making these relationships with, and that became sort of this new generation um, of Trinity. So totally different to me. Um, and I think that the one I think that people are responding to at the moment is the one of the most recent one, the one with the Kevin Abbott, and having he was kind of everybody's go-to guy for motors, batteries, technical advice, and he helped a lot of people from what I've seen at the races firsthand. What people liked was they could go to him for the advice and to get better with their equipment, and it worked. He helped them, and it worked, and that's why you're seeing sort of an outpouring of this information. I think on social media is that's the Trinity that they're responding to right now. Is the one with Kevin and being really helpful, and later having AJ there with the drag racing stuff. And that, to me, that's almost a whole nother generation um, with AJ, and then going down the drag racing route. Because to me, that's a little bit different. But yeah, so um, I would have to guess that, obviously a lot of racers are going to miss that side of it from Trinity. Sort of that, really what it was is a very one-on-one experience, similar to what you might have with, if you know me at the races, or Paul Wynn, or even Allison, or anybody that's with us, and Tyler and Hannah, and these where you have a personal relationship there with people that have some passion for it. It makes a pretty big difference, and I think that's what people uh, have with Kevin. And so I think that um, that's kind of the shakeup, right, going on at the moment.
Yeah.
And people are just, I think a lot of people are feeling like you. They're very sad about that because they liked the idea they raced. Well, for one, I know there's a lot of people that felt like they wanted to be Trinity racers in the 90s, in your day, right?
Right.
But they weren't really on that level. But as they gotten older in life, they've been able to get uh, those experiences of being on that team, and now they love it because, and I think it is different. Back then, they saw it as there was a little, they saw it as a brand and sort of that empire part. But now you want that one-on-one with people that know and have passion, and then that's what the Kevin was bringing to the table. Um, and I'm sure there was many others, but uh, yeah. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's like, when Trinity first moved to Florida, I felt it was really hard on me too, because it was like, well, I'm not going to be down in Florida you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like, okay, that's definite. Like, it's over. Like, even though I was back home, you always felt like, well, Trinity's just right down the road.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to go back, I'd probably go back. But
Mm-hmm.
when they moved to Florida, it was like, well, and that was like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like that today. Like, I'm just like, kind of like, not that I was going to go work there again, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to
Well,
explain
what
it,
it is
man. Like, all the stuff
what you feel is that you feel that it's missing. Um,
what's that now?
well, to me, I think it's almost like you feel like it's missing, like it's not there. That's almost like you're feeling. I guess.
Yeah, now it's like, um, going to big corporate, and kind of feels like it's just going to get lost in the woods to me. So it's like, it's going to be there, but I don't know if it's going to be. Well, it hasn't been like that for years, but I don't know, man.
Well,
I'm hurt.
nothing is gonna compare
Well, because
uh,
yeah,
to that generation that definitely you were a part of. I mean, that was, uh, you know, the lack of a better word, that was epic. But uh, yeah, I think that's going to be tough to measure. But we don't know the whole story. That's the whole thing. Is you know, there's obviously much more to this. Um, so
yeah. I
so
don't know, Jason. So I've been going down this, like I said, I've been on this Wayback Machine, going through all the old. Man, does that really hit you then when you go through these old, the old Trinity websites? And
mhm.
damn, I'm bummed out, guys. Help me out here, please. And people saying that, you know, Horizon's gonna ruin them and all this other stuff, and I'm like, no, please,
Well,
Jason.
what
I begged Jason. I was gonna team up with Jason to buy it. I wanted to do that so bad. I'm like, come on, Jason, let's do it. Let's go. I'll be in charge of the Trinity division. But you know, obviously that was gonna happen, but I was begging. I was like, let's
yeah.
do it, man. Let's do it.
Well,
Pardon me.
the question is, here's the question:
Mm,
is would you rather see Trinity go? I'm just completely. This is just I'm playing the devil's advocate here, and I'm just spitballing these
I just
ideas.
want to get all the old
I don't,
guys back.
I don't. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's a fantasy.
But
So
it
the
could happen. I can convince a lot of these guys to come back if we had it.
it's
But
in
it's not
general
as
that's a fantasy. But
right. Yeah.
I think the situation is: would you rather it continue the way it was continuing without Ernie, and really sort of the future being sort of a little question of what the direction and the push is going to be, with the potential that maybe it wasn't there anymore? Or would you rather have it, the name and the likeness and everything being, you know, moved over to Horizon, where they can keep it in the lineup? So to me, I'm seeing it like that's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it like, well, maybe it's just maybe it wasn't going to exist anymore, and this was the only other, this was the best option available to keep it going. Um,
Yeah, Michael Mallet, you're feeling what 95% of the people are feeling now. It's a kick in the gut for the old school guys. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm just trying to say, if would people feel better if they said tomorrow, sorry, we're just going to close up. There's no
Yeah.
Trinity anymore.
And I'm
Would
not
that would
blame.
you feel better? Would somebody feel better
No,
about that?
no,
Like,
right. Yeah, that's terrible.
so to me,
That would have been
that
devastating if it just shut down.
right. That's
Right.
what I mean.
I
Is
understand that.
so that's the question: is maybe that was something
And
that was faced with. Maybe that
right.
was a situation.
And
Sure. I mean,
I'm not blaming Angelina at all. I mean, she's smart. She obviously knew what to do. Um, you just kind of wish, I don't know. I just wish everybody was,
I
they just
mean,
they weren't involved with RC. They didn't really, what are you going to do,
well,
right? So,
if you is it possible? And I'm just
Jason, help me
guessing.
out here because MX is saying this is where companies go to die. He's saying, rest in peace, Trinity. Horizon's where brands go to die. I mean, this is not,
I
MX is
mean,
not making me feel any better.
we'll get to we can get to that.
Okay.
But what I was going to say was, is it possible? And I don't know anything specific, but is it possible that between how good Ernie did in the heyday and how popular and good Trinity was in the days that you were there, that he was keeping this going strictly because of the passion he had for it, and he had enough backing and enough money throughout the years to keep it going. And when it was really broken down, that and the attorneys and everybody started looking at this thing and saying, look, you know, this is what you can expect, and maybe it wasn't doing as great as it was when you guys were around, and that was the best option for her was to say, let's let the name and everything
Right.
live. Let's put it in the hands of somebody that has the money to do it, and let's let it be, and she's like, and I don't have to dig into my um, inheritance or money, personal money, to keep it running year after year. We don't, and it's not a passion of hers, right?
Right.
If it's your passion, you keep chasing it, right? It doesn't matter how bad things are and how grim it could be. Um, if it's your passion, you'll keep chasing. You'll just keep throwing money at it, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not going to give up on your dream. But for somebody that can look at it from the outside looking in, um, then that's probably the decision that they arrived at. Now, you can debate. I think part of the debate here is how it all happened. Um, how this kind of came out. Um, how this news came out, how it was broken to Kevin, how it was broken to the other employees. Now, granted, I don't know anything about that, and sure, you can say that probably wasn't handled properly, because I would say that it probably never is handled properly, because there's these secrets kind of just um, they exist, and then there's just that day that apparently things just happen, right? and and then people that find out, they're on a need to know basis, right? And they
Yeah.
don't need to know until they need to know.
Until
So
they
I think I think that's the debate, is a little bit how it ended, and I think that's where people are feeling a little bad. Um, and I totally get that. I agree with that. But I think maybe what happened is, when you lay this all out, and when she looked at it all, they looked at it with, the people that are either attorneys or whoever, and they said, look, this is probably not a bad option. Keeps the name going, and you still can. And that's my guess of kind of how it went down here,
yeah.
and just a total guess on my end. But I think the idea, and sure, it's fun to kind of say, oh yeah, you got this biggie uh, Horizon hobby coming in and buying somebody and want to put. That's not really the case. They don't need that brand. Um, they have plenty of good brands on their own, and um, it seems like if something comes their way, I think that is positive, and it doesn't cost them a lot, they probably jump on it. I think the Proline deal was big. I think that was the biggest one that they probably had ever been a part of. But it was also when I think Proline was at a height of business, and I think Horizon was at the height of a business year, where they probably felt really strong to go in all in on that one. And I think that was a big one. In a relative in our business, right?
Right.
Not probably in the, we'll call it the real world. In the RC world, that was probably a big one. But these other ones, I don't think, and I could be wrong, I'm just guessing, but I don't think they're the AKA, the Trinity, this stuff. I don't think they're as big. More of a um, taking it over kind of thing.
Yeah, see, this hurts. Kean saying Horizon Hobbies has a bad record on treating people. They're just now recovering from firing Drake, but the bottom line is Horizon doesn't need RC racing to be successful. I know that hurts, but it's the truth. And that does hurt, Kean. That hurts me.
Well, yeah, yeah. Basically, what his comment is, and what I would say is, for the couple hundred guys that are online that don't like this move, and already renouncing their sponsorships, um, there's people out there looking to buy RC product with a name that don't care, right? And that's what Horizon, and eventually that's what this all kind of wears off eventually, and then they can kind of do what they want with it, and probably sell some product, right? They're going to need some competition motors and product. Personally, what I would do with it if I was them is I would put it alongside of our Spectrum stuff. The Spectrum has been really coming up in recently. They have this a lot of this dirt bike technology that they're patenting. They're kind of doubling down on the Spectrum name and the technology that they have. They have chargers, they have batteries, they have this brushless technology. They have this dirt bike technology. They invented the spread spectrum technology, 2.4 gigahertz. They were the first one in the market with that. So I would put the Trinity with the Spectrum, and it would just be the competition side of the Spectrum. That's what I would do with it. If because you already have some solid Spectrum items, but it would probably wouldn't hurt to have a slightly um, edgier name or slightly edgier race product to go with it. So, if you have your competition motors, competition batteries, you can kind of package those as Trinity, but it goes with your Spectrum, right? Maybe you have your Spectrum charger, you have your some smart technology, the radio, whatever, the 2.4, but your motor, maybe your motor and your speed control and those older core Trinity items are now Trinity, right?
Hmm.
So that's what I would do. And you don't need the rest of it. They don't need any of the aluminum stuff or any of these little uh, trinket items that they had in the lineup. They don't need any of that. They got plenty of that already. So I think that's what you'll probably see.
Wow. Paul Wynn is saying that Kevin and AJ had that passion, so I'm sure that is where most are questioning what happened. Did they have their hands tied, or were they given a chance to bring it back to the highest level?
Yeah.
Right. That we don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I mean that's a different generation, right? We have this name Trinity that you're associated with, but it's funny because the name that you're passionate about, the side of it was this New Jersey side of it, right? And then there's kind of the Florida version, which to me was a little lighter, a little gentler version of the original, which I feel like was more. It was more attractive to me also than the original. But you liked the original. You liked the powerhouse, the
Yeah.
pushing people around. Yeah, that was your fun part. Like
Right. Yeah.
the
No, it was an
powerhouse,
absolute
the evil.
war. Like every race meant
Yeah,
something, and
yeah,
it's just
yep.
yeah.
And
It's a different time, man. A lot of people have no clue. I mean,
yeah,
that factory at the time had 30 plus employees in it,
yeah.
and it was just it was it was awesome.
Well, it was the juggernaut of that day.
Hmm. Man, there's a lot of comments rolling in, so I will get to them. Scrolling through them. Um,
You know what made me think about something today was, where there's the meme that says some of y'all never got. It's just an example. Some of y'all never.
and it
Um,
shows.
yes, and it shows, right?
Right.
I thought about Tech Talk today, and I was like, some of y'all were never on Tech Talk, and it shows. That was the one I thought of today.
I
It
still
made
want
me
to log into Tech Talk here.
be like, bro, where's my username, password?
Look at you can even like type it in. Look at Gotti Jr. There it is. That was my handle.
You'll be dreaming this tonight, logging in, and it works, and it's just like up to date.
It was so awesome. If you weren't around for that, you missed it, man. It was the best.
Well, and it shows. if if you some of y'all weren't on Tech Talk in the late '90s, early 2000s, and it shows.
Right. Oh man. Yes,
So
Mike Woods is correct. Remember, Trinity was big on the slot card side too. So absolutely,
yeah,
that's where they started. So
well, yeah. I mean, that's what Ernie started in, right? With slot cars.
yep.
A lot
Hmm.
of people started at slot cars. I think it's what's strange is it's not that starting in slot cars. That's kind of what you had. It wasn't like, hey, I started in slot cars and there was all this other stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like you started in slot cars because that's what there was. Um, I mean, all these people, I mean, Roger Curtis from Associated, he was a slot car. I mean, they had a team, they had Associated Raceway was where he started for doing slot cars, and I think that's where he met Mike Reedy was at the slot car track. I know, obviously, then you talk about Ernie. I'm sure Jim Dieter was a slot car guy. I'm sure uh, Ron Schur, who we've talked on the podcast before, he was a big slot car guy. So that was like a lot of people started in that.
So yeah, Billy Bruce saying Tony P. Absolutely, Tony P. Man, Ernie and Tony P. Billy Bruce, um,
Billy Brute worked there. He worked
yeah,
at Trinity too.
yeah, I used to hang out with him in Chicago hobby show. I don't know if I hung out with him, but you know what I mean. He was in the same building,
There you
and his
go.
brother.
Yep.
Billy knows about Excalibur nightclub, also.
Yep.
What else we got here? Yes, correct, MX. Tech Talk was the pirate 4x4 of the RC world, Wild West. Okay.
Whew.
Billy Bruce
Yeah,
does remember Excalibur.
I remember. I know Paul had that Pirate 4x4 up many times at our shop, and I know exactly what this guy's talking about. It is the Wild Wild West on there too. Yeah, Tech Talk was the Pirate 4x4 of the RC world. Yeah, I remember. We used to go on there and look at stuff for back when we were getting into crawling and scaling, and back when it was called crawlers. Now they're back to the crawler name, but
Well, wait, went from crawlers to what?
like scale trucks. It
Oh, that's
went
right. You
like
used to say scale all the time, right?
yeah. So like when we started in it was crawlers, and then it went to scale and trail trucks. It went to scale and trail. Then now it's back to crawlers. People say crawlers again. So I'm like, all right, hey, whatever.
That's weird, man. It's weird.
So, but the vehicles have changed and evolved over the years to kind of, it does follow that a little bit, but yeah, I remember. So
Right.
we remember being on that Pirate 4x4, looking at things on there, and yeah, it was a mess. It was kind of like people would just say whatever. I mean, that's how
Yeah,
the Tech Talk was.
Oh, it was crazy. And then part of my job was to monitor the whole thing. Like, I wasn't the only one, but if and people would put, people on the West Coast would post something that was inappropriate. And
Yeah,
of course, I'm in bed at 3 a.m. They're posting it at midnight, and I wake
Yeah.
up, and then Ernie's like, "Hey, how come you didn't take that down?"
because it was 3 a.m.
It was 3 a.m. So
Yeah,
I'm like, you're right, boss. Sorry, I'll try
Yeah.
better next time.
yeah. I understand your frustration.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you like to upgrade to the macho cheese fries for $1 more? Thank you. Man, this bring back great memories.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The Tech Talk, it was out of control. I hated it, but
I loved it. It was awesome.
I never would. I remember people would send me links. You got to read this. You got to check this out, and I was like, every time I was on there, I just felt like it's like, dude, nobody is safe. Like this is just a complete war
Nobody's
zone.
safe.
Yeah, it's just a complete war zone. Like it's just everybody's getting attacked, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this useful? I'm like, it's just entertainment. It's like, is there anywhere on here where people are actually being helped, or is
Well, it was
just
kind
like
of cool, like because we were able to help people. Ernie would jump on there, and it was awesome. I mean, you had Ernie actually in there helping people with stuff. They had questions. Ernie was answering, and Tony was answering. Anybody. So how cool was that back in the day when the internet was coming around? I mean, you're able to talk to him.
Yeah, you could.
Ernie was always on there, man. He loved it.
You can communicate. I'm sure, but I think but it seemed like it kind of transitioned to where then it became arguments, like, and then he's got to like defend himself or defend a product, and to me it's just, it gets to the point where it's like, look, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Right. Look at this. Paul Wynn had a few battles with Big E on Tech Talk.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody did. I'm sure everybody did at one time or another. Uh, that's the tough part about the whole thing is when do you call when who calls it good, right? That's the whole thing about the arguing on the internet is at what point do you just say it's not worth it and you just go, you know what? I'm not changing their mind,
Right.
and I'm not changing their mind. They're not changing my mind. Let's just agree to disagree, and I'm just never gonna talk again. And like to me, that's what how all of these are. But what's really the instigator, the real
Some
instigator,
Go ahead.
to
There's some good comments in here.
is there's people that I think there's people that they do not let it go. They will not let it go. And those are the ones that they just live for it, right? I remember a friend of mine telling me one day, he's like, dude, you can't argue with me. He goes, I'm on the internet 20 hours a day.
You're not going to win that battle.
You're not winning it with me. He goes, I'm on there 20 hours. Like, he's like,
Wait, was that
you know,
me?
that,
Huh.
no, but he's just like, he's like, look, I'm on 20 hours a day. He's like, I'm going to win, like, he's like, and he's like, to him, it was like, no time. I'm not wasting my time. Like, I'm committed to this no matter what it is. So yeah, it's interesting how that goes. I mean, and I still see it today. It's the same thing. Uh, you can't change a person's mind. They're not going to change yours, vice versa. It's just, but everybody feels like they can. And, it's like, oh, I got one more comment here. Let me get my, actually you're on your phone, right? So you're like, I got a comment here. This is going to do it, and all of a sudden it's just like, you craft this beautiful response and the guy, yeah, you just craft this beautiful response, and then somebody will just come back and just like, whatever, fanboy, hater, you know what I mean? Like it's that type of thing. And you're just like, no, you can't win.
You're like, that's all you got though? Just call me a
Yeah.
fanboy?
I like there's that meme where it's like a person like kind of looking at a computer.
Or you're like mixing chemicals. I like that one where you're perfectly crafting your
Yeah.
response.
Yeah, it's like what Billy's saying here. Everybody's got to have the last word, and that's really what it is um, it's just, and people love it. Like it's like becomes just when there's one of these things happening that's like blowing up, which is it's happening right now, right over this Trinity Horizon thing. People just throw out the most outlandish things. Like you said, just Horizon destroys all these companies. That's like people put that up, and it's like, well, hey, Axial's there. It's like I saw Max Kramer somewhere kind of defending their stuff, and you know what? I'm not. I'm just like I said earlier. I'm not necessarily defending anybody. I'm just trying to play like the devil's advocate a little bit. But Max Kramer, I saw him comment. He's like, look, he's like, Arma, Axial, aka Proline, and Trinity, they're more financially secure than they've ever been. You know what I mean? Like that was his comment. Like, hey man, these companies aren't going anywhere now because Horizon has them. Like that was kind of his point. It's like, well, maybe he's right. I don't know. I would rather have the Ernie Trinity, just like everybody else, right? But
Absolutely.
if there is no Ernie Trinity, then is it really is it really Trinity, right? So that's the thing.
That's why I was hoping, like, if I wasn't going to be involved, someone like Joel would take over. Remember, I was in the chat, I'm like, man, I wish Joel would just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
How awesome!
And
Would
we
have
talked
been
about
Joel
that,
Jim. Right?
and he would be a great name for it because of just the legacy of the brand, right? It's like of all the names you could throw out there, it's like, oh, that'd be a great one because of all the history with him, and people would completely sign off on it because of that.
Joel freaking Johnson. back at Trinity. Dude, that would have been epic. Magic Motorsports.
Hey, maybe Horizon will, never know. Maybe Horizon will hire Joel and say, hey,
Oh,
come in, and you can run Trinity, the Trinity part of it, and then all of a
wow,
sudden,
that'd be
you save face, right?
right.
That's the corporate move is you bring in the Magic Man, and then everybody goes, oh yeah, I'm back,
Damn, don't get me all excited.
Yeah, right.
Dang.
Um, it's like we talked about the other day, the old Team Losi logo. If you would have saw that on the dirt bike, how pumped up
Right.
people would have been to see the old Team Losi logo. Um, but yeah, I mean, in all reality, um, in all reality, is Team Losi and TLR really? They're not really the old Team Losi and TLR either, right? That was with Pops and Gil and Gary Keyes and Janet and the original dream team that they had. That was the Team Losi that probably people really loved, right? Um, that you grew up with, but um, it's almost like a sports team in a way, right? It's like you're a Laker fan, right? And you're like, oh, we had Magic, Kareem, and we had Kobe and Shaq or whatever, and then it's like, you like fall in love with that regime, right? And then
Yeah.
when it's like a new regime, you're just like, I don't like that one anymore. Um,
I don't know. I never felt like that. I mean, I don't like. You mean the front office? Like, I'm not enjoying the front office now
yeah,
compared to
yeah.
in the day. But yeah, I don't know. Um, hmm, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. Sad
You
day.
almost said it. You almost said it was a sad day at Trinity.
No. Well, it is. It is a sad day at Trinity for me.
I
Um,
like how you just have the Tech Talk screen open. Like
yeah,
you're just like trying to log in like
I
over
just
and
decided to
over
keep it
again.
open. I can't remember my password,
My
but you can't
password.
enter it anyway. It just go if you enter as a Tech Talk guest, it just crashes. It just
I
says you
think
haven't entered the correct handle or password. Try again. And I was trying to enter as a guest. How awesome would it have been if they had like the topics there still?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is sad. Yeah, a couple hours before the pod, I was I was waiting on you, and I was just going through all the captures and
Mm-hmm.
what are you gonna do? I live in the past.
That's
Um,
I get it.
I don't know. Do you really?
I get it.
All right, Joe Zare saying Horizon has given the RC community a shit sandwich in the last 2 weeks. They have the poor TLR drivers a long chassis for their 12-year-old car instead of a new car. But then they broke the internet with the MX bike. It's so dialed, but then they absolutely gut Trinity.
Well, I mean, I don't know that they get anything with Trinity. I mean, it's not like
Maybe he
there's,
meant to say they
you
hit
know,
him in the gut with Trinity.
yeah, that's probably.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, the reason they haven't had a two-wheel drive buggy update is because they were working on the dirt bike. I mean, that's the reason. Um, so they didn't, they took their A team of people and they put it on the dirt bike project because they feel that was the most valuable to them, and it will be, um, unfortunately. And but I think they'll get the two-wheel buggy updated now that I mean, obviously Dakota and several others, not just Dakota, they do well with the car. But they do need new parts. They do need an update. They do
Well, the
need
worlds are
that.
coming.
Yeah, it is.
That's when you could debut the new stuff.
But I think ever since the dirt bike project's been over, I'm sure they're back at doing some of those things. But they had a lot of time in that dirt bike. They had to put the A team on it, and they had to get it out. Um, so we'll see. And I think they're they're betting the farm in a sense that this dirt bike is going to be the number one selling RC here for a while, and they're probably right. It was probably going to have a huge wave.
Uh,
I um,
he's Joe is saying that they gut Trinity because everybody got fired. So I
yeah, but you're not talking like 30 people. You know what I mean? You're talking
right that would
about
have like back in our
you know what I
day,
mean?
right?
To
Yeah,
me, when I think of gut, the thing is like there's not 30 people. You're talking about a couple people. Um, and the daughter was running it. So to me, it's not like 30 people. You're talking about a couple people. Um,
which
but
still, but and I know somebody mentioned Kevin, and it gives him an opportunity to start his own thing.
yeah.
So everything happens
Well,
for a reason, right?
honestly, yeah, but and if at the same time, if you're already putting a logo up of your new brand on the same day, obviously you were kind of preparing for something too. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good
Like
point. Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
well, I
I
didn't know
mean,
what the logo was, and I messaged you. I'm like, what is this? Like, I thought they renamed Trinity.
yeah, I mean, it's
Because
not
somebody
like,
sent it to me. They just sent me the logo, and I'm like, what is this? Like,
yeah, I mean,
so,
obviously
so
when,
you must have knew.
well, I mean,
Well, obviously,
obviously you
right?
have a plan and you have a plan in place, right? Like, so there's two there's two things going on here, right? Like it's like,
Right?
you know what I mean? It's like, all right, one moment, yeah, I just got fired from Trinity. Oh, but here's my new brand. Like, wait, this happened in 2 or 3 hours of each other. It's like, you know what I mean? Like there's a candle kind of burning at both ends here.
Yeah.
So um, I don't. I mean, I think I think there's going to be a lot of success, and there's going to be a lot of racers looking to run the new brand. But what I'm saying is, I mean, obviously, um, there's been some preparation and some thought going into this prior to that day too, right?
Yeah. Apparently.
Apparently,
I know somebody mentioned in the comments above about what happens to Jim Dieter now.
I
Wasn't
don't think that Jim was involved with Trinity anymore.
right.
Um, as far as I know, and
Well, I think he was sort of
I'm not
like
like the Trinity. I'm not like the Trinity knowledge base of everything. Like,
I'm not
um,
with the new one, no. So I don't know how
so,
involved.
but
But I think if
I
I
don't.
recalled, Jim was there. So
Of course, yeah,
that's
he's
how it
like,
was. Yep.
yeah, he was like part of the A team, right?
Right.
So, if you needed it, you probably had it, but if you didn't, you didn't. So,
Sarah's saying, I don't understand why the sales structure didn't include Kevin, AJ, and employees. It was a turnkey company. I don't know a whole lot about the RC community, but I know that the people that made that company made it. Hmm. The new Trinity she's talking about.
hmm uh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm just guessing like everybody else.
Hey, Jason, Jeff Todd likes your shirt. LA Night.
Yeah, he mentioned it on Facebook too. It's funny. Yeah, like we talked about earlier, we all got into that. Um, you got me into watching the couple clips, so I got the shirt on
Right.
eBay, and we realized that I got curious when my shirt came in, and I was like, WWE is printing their shirts on Gildan
No,
shirts.
sir. We
I'm
are
like,
not.
I'm like, that doesn't seem right to me. I texted you, and you're like, no, we have a deal with Fanatics where all of our apparel is on this deal with Fanatics. And I'm like, hey, the shirt I got is printed on a Gildan, um, generic black T-shirt. So I'm wearing a fake. I'm wearing a fake shirt that I got on eBay apparently. Um, but what's funny is when we did this research, me and you, I sent it to you, and it says the description of the one I bought said it was Fanatics. It says in the
Yeah, it
description,
did. Yeah, it
yeah,
did.
it says like so. Technically, I could go back to the guy and just say, "Hey, man, you sent me a fraudulent piece of fake merchandise." But I'm like, well, I'm just gonna wear it one time anyway, so it doesn't really matter for me.
Right.
Like I'm just wearing it on this because we talked about it, but it's not like I'm gonna go out in public. Uh,
Hey, if I show up
with
at the
this.
Worlds, if I do show up at the Worlds, you got to wear the shirt at least one day.
Yeah, you gotta remind me. I'll
The
bring it with. Maybe I'll get a real one by then.
a real one.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like when you
still, I'm
said that's a
still.
nice little scam this guy's running.
Yeah, he does. He's got a nice little scam going. I
He's
mean,
got the Fanatics up there, but then
yeah.
when you get
And
it,
you
Gildan.
click on it, and you go into his description. It says printed on genuine guild. I'm like, wait a second. So in the the ad and the thing, it says Fanatics, and then you over here Gildan. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
um,
So,
I was gonna tell you something. We were talking about the dirt bike a little bit.
mhm.
We did the podcast, I guess last week. We talked about the low C dirt bike, um, and I had some, I guess questions, and just I was kind of throwing stuff out there, talking about the dirt bike, and how do you turn marshal it? Uh, is it going to race on the same tracks? And so I think Frank Root actually, I think he listened to the podcast, so
Oh,
he sent me a video of him driving the new dirt bike at the Proline track. I think when they built it either new or after the race of one of their JBRLs. So he showed me it was like 3 or 4 laps that he did with the dirt bike on that track, and I think to kind of like show me a little bit more about how it was performing and working, because all we had seen up to last point on the podcast was kind of highlights, right? You
right.
just see like kind of the retouched video
You weren't seeing actual
segments.
game footage, as they would say in the video
Yeah,
game industry. Right.
yeah. So you kind of see the highlight videos and what they want you to see, I guess. Um, so uh, so yeah, I think the video he sent me, I watched the whole thing and I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Um, it's him driving the car, and I think it's actually Gil Losi Jr. Doing the video, and you can hear him kind of like actually really enjoying Frank driving the
Oh.
bike. Like he's kind of laughing. He's like, "Oh,
He's
he's
like,
like, "Oh, you." He's like, "Oh, you made." Well, not quite like that, but
that's what
like
I
he was.
pictured when he said he's really
Well,
enjoying.
no, he was like generally excited that Frank's making all the jumps, and because the thing was like a monster in a straight line. I mean, when any jump that was on this track, Frank's just sending it. Got great brake control. The thing's landing, and he
Yeah.
agreed. He's like, hey, a couple corners here and there. He's like, it was, a couple corners here and there. Yeah, this kind of happens. But you can see, so Frank kind of detailed the video out for me, kind of showed, texted me how it was performing going around a traditional track. This wasn't even a special track. And I was kind of like, you know, I wasn't like trying to argue or anything. I was just like, well, yeah, like when guys like Joey build a special track for it, it'll be even cooler. And he's like, well, you don't really need a special track. But I'm like trying to build a special track, like I'm
Right.
like, yeah, Joe, I'm just like volunteering Joey already, I'm like, oh, if Joey will for sure build a track for this thing. And he's like, well, you don't need a special track. And I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm just like, yeah, but I want a special track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, Frank, it was awesome. Frank sent this video, which is probably the one everybody actually needs to see and wants to see because and that's what's funny about today with videos and everything is you have such good access to equipment and being able to edit videos and make them really nice and polished. And that's great because it looks professional. But at the end of the day, um, this video Frank sent me from an iPhone or whatever it was kind of gives you the whole story. In 3 laps, you're like, okay, I get it. Um, and yeah, as Tim Barth is saying here, he did post it on Facebook after, right after he sent it to me, and almost simultaneously. And it was nice because you got to see it with unedited, I guess, because I think that's what everybody fears, right? Is that you
Yeah.
kind of got the Tyco Turbo Hopper commercial going
Yeah, there's
where
nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
he's jumping the Grand Canyon, right? And and there's no problems, you know.
Uh,
So, but yeah, like you can see that. And the other thing is when he crashed, it did kind of self-right itself. It it kind
what?
of got back up. Yeah, like you could kind of crash and it would like kind of find center again and get up and kind of get going.
Oh.
And the other thing he said is if you do turn marshal it, he's like, you don't have to give it like that push start like we were talking about. Remember we were talking
Oh
about
yeah, we were
how
wondering how the marshalling was
yeah,
going to go.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like, does the marshal have to kind of give you one of those little gentle, like I picture like those people that put fish back in the water after they catch
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
right? Like they hold it and they let it go back into the water.
Push.
Like,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go.
that's how I kind of, that's, yeah, go ahead, little buddy. Um, yeah, so I think and he said that I think the marshal just kind of has to get it generally, you know, set back in the right direction, right?
Tim's saying I need to go watch that, so I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
I mean, the in a straight line, the thing is a monster. Like the jumps he's doing, which I think is, and Frank just, um, he just said it. He's having a lot of fun with it, and he's excited. And I told him, I said, you know what? I hope you guys sell 100,000 of them.
Paul Wynn saying it does look cool on a big outdoor tracks, but SDRC posted one run at their track and it was painful.
Yeah. So, and then I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is you can do it the way Frank did it in his video on a nice outdoor track, but still in my mind, I'm picturing Joey Christensen taking his 10 scale track and making it for that vehicle. And I think it would be perfect.
Hmm.
So, but I don't think you want to say you have to have that, but I think to make it look great, I think that's what's going to end up happening and there's going to be enough of them. People are going to do it on their own. You're not even going to have to do anything. People are just going to do it.
I'm a little scared when I was watching the video on the suspension. Like I don't want to do any of that. You know what I mean?
You don't want to do what to the
I don't want to
suspension?
try and improve it. I just want to take it out of the box and run it, which I guess I can. But what's going to end up
Yeah.
happening is you're going to have certain classes, I guess, for it. Where, box stock and then
40 plus.
40 plus and 50 plus class.
40 plus dirt bike.
Yeah, I was trying to watch. I think it was Frank doing it, right? He was showing you how to do this and that. I'm like, Jesus, I don't want to do any of that.
It's already built. You're not going to need to do anything.
Right, but I'd imagine these guys are going to upgrade the shit out of it. I mean, it's going to be to the point where you're scared to get into it because you're getting all these different forks and springs and freaking. I don't know. I just picture.
Oh, it's like a regular RC car racing.
Yeah, I guess so. What the hell? What's the difference? I guess. But I just thought this thing would be like I take it out, go. Next thing you know, everybody's upgrading it. You're going to spend thousands, and the kid. I just have separate classes, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, we got 40 plus. We got 17.5 Sportsman, dirt bike. We got
I literally,
pro.
and it's
We
no
got
disrespect
pro.
to them, or
We got pro mod dirt bike.
I literally was watching that video, and when they started doing that, I turned it off because I'm like, well, I'm, I'm not, you know, I'm not getting one anyway. But I mean,
What's interesting is I think the people that RC appeals to are the ones that actually want to do all that.
I know they
They're
do.
like
They enjoy it. Yeah,
they're actually like, whoa, I can like change out the springs and do this. Like they're like already like they're before they even run it, they'll probably start changing stuff.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
just human nature, I guess.
yeah. I guess so.
You know what? I was doing a little bit of thought on the price too. You were talking about the price, the
Yeah,
six
I don't
hundred
like it.
bucks. You weren't really wild about the price. I was doing a little research on that, and what I was thinking of is I asked some of my friends. I was like, because I started thinking back. All right, so when I in like the late '80s or whatever, when I was getting RC cars, I was like, so how much really were these cars, right? And I was asking my friend, I was like, how much did you pay? Like, do you remember how much a Clodbuster was in like 1987 or 1988?
Oh,
And
here goes the inflation calculator.
yep. And he's like, yeah, I bought my Clodbuster for 260. Was the mail order price, and it was 300 at my hobby shop. And you put it in, $300 in 1987 versus what is that today? And today it's over $800.
Wow.
So um, by comparison, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I essentially in 1987 or 1988, I'm asking my parents to buy an $800 Clodbuster for me that still didn't have a radio or a battery or a charger. So in order to get all that, it was going to be in today's money over $1,000 for the Clodbuster that I wanted, right? Um, and this is 600. I think it's actually for the one for 600. I think has all that. So
Well, there's
yeah, and
two versions of it, or what's the cheapest
yeah,
one?
I
It's
want to
just
say
$50.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm like, you get a battery and a charger. I'm like, yeah, why
Well, I
not?
think the other one's just a pro. I think they both do. I think the way it was explained to me was just you're paying for the pro circuit name.
Yeah, actually, I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody in chat would mention it.
Yeah, like
Keen's saying he thinks this bike will get more people into RC racing.
yeah. I mean, I mean,
There you go.
sure. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I told Frank. I'm like, you know what? I hope you guys sell 100,000 of these things, like
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's just going to be good for everything. I mean, what happens is you're going to get these. You're going to have a clique of guys that get them and go to run them. Um, but then you're going to have, and then you're going to have people that are buying them for the first time. Is what Keenan is obviously alluding to is people they're going to get into RC for the first time, and then that will trickle into other classes. So that's what we're hoping for. Is that'll be more people maybe that get into 8 scale, get into 10 scale off road, because then they'll see these vehicles, and when you get into something like RC and you like it, you just want more of it, right? So pretty soon you have a dirt bike, an 8 scale, a 10 scale, and whatever else you can convince your credit card to buy you. Yeah, as Jim Hughes is saying here, Gotti.
Oh.
What is he saying? I'm having a
Motorcycle
hard.
shops are going to carry them as well. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean that was a point that somebody brought up to me too. Is they're like, they're talking about that as, maybe these power sports stores that specialize in kind of all these kind of utility type vehicles will get into having that as well. Maybe they'll get into RC more. So we'll see them have them alongside of the 1-to-1 scale.
Joe Zare saying, here's a real question. How will Traxxas find a way to sue Horizon for some extremely obscure copyright infringement?
Well, I was actually thinking of it as the opposite. What I was thinking is they are going to, if this vehicle has success, this dirt bike, how is Traxxas going to make one and get around the patent pending items that Losi has in this vehicle? So to me, that's where the real battle is going to be. It's not going to be in, I think, the copyright infringement that Traxxas is going to look at. I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to figure out a way, if successful, to make something similar without infringing on their potential patent. So this is the little war that's shaping up. So that's, to me, what is going to be interesting. And I think what's going to happen is, and now this is, I'm assuming that this is popular, and right off the bat, a Traxxas says we got to have one of these. Now, how do we make it the same or better? Then and they have the resources to dig into this just as well as anybody else, or better, to make something as good or better without infringing on their possible patents. That's where I see this heading, if assuming it's popular. Because if it's not popular, then they're not going to bother, right? I mean, why would you? But where this is valuable, I think, for Horizon, it's not necessarily valuable right now, although it can be. But what's valuable is in the 3 or 4 other vehicles that are the offshoot of, like we talked about in the other show, the MotoGP bike, the Harley, the jet ski, whatever you can use this technology for two-wheel kind of vehicles, or things that are controlled by balance by humans, right? That's kind of what it is it's a balance control type of thing, that's normally controlled by a human. So that's what I think is going to happen is this stuff can carry over to 3 or 4 different products that are all potentially good sellers. And then the Traxxases of the world are like, oh, now we got 4 or 5 vehicles or different types of things here that are doing pretty well in their own right. And man, we're going to have to take a shot at this. And then how do they attack it? And can they make it better? Because obviously there is a way to get around patents and change things and stuff. So how do you do that? How do you build the better mousetrap without infringing? And I'm looking forward to see that battle shaping up.
Yes, if Traxxas wants to get into it.
Yeah. And that's assuming, like we said, there's a reason. And
maybe like
Joe, what Joe said, about the Traxxas going after him for something obscure. I guess it's possible that that happens. Traxxas has shown they've done that. But I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know if that's the answer for them. The answer is to make something bigger and better, right? That's really the answer.
Kean saying Traxxas will say, hold my beer, and make one.
They might.
They ain't afraid of no lawsuits.
They might.
Jerry's saying, I'm afraid that the bike isn't going to work at most indoor tracks. It turns like a dump truck. And I did watch a video. I don't know what track that was from, Jason, but I was like, oh, damn. So these things ain't going to work on tracks like this.
He's probably right. I don't, I think, like I said, it helps to have a specific track. I mean, I've never driven one. I don't know. I'm just going by the video.
Well, you have
and
one.
what
You have one coming, right?
Yeah, I ordered two.
Nice.
Yeah. One to shine, one to
And one-
grind.
Oh, okay. I thought you were sending me one. I was going to try it out. Do not put the training wheels on it, Jason. I want to see you go around without the training wheels.
You can't. That has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's you would think like they got to be bummed out a little by that. Like, you think?
Oh, I'm sure it was a blow. It was a huge.
They're probably like, "Damn, can we not have these?"
Yeah,
but I guess the tech isn't there, right?
Well, I think the issue is you can't. There's only so far you can go past. There's that breakover point when you get leaned too far. At a certain point, it just loses its grip on the surface because you can only roll on that far on that tire and you can only get over so far. And
yeah,
but that's where the human element of the real thing of being able to move your weight around, being able to put your feet out sometimes, I guess. That's kind of like training wheels, but I don't, but
yeah.
There's a lot going on there, and I think because I did have that in my mind too, like that this thing wasn't going to have those lean bars is what they call them, the lean bars,
Yeah.
I believe. I kind of, in my mind, I kind of had it without that. Like when I kind of knew about what was going on with this project a little bit, and I kind of, like you kind of run it in through your mind, I kind of felt like it didn't have that in my mind because but
if you think about how are they going to get rid of that? It's like,
I think I don't know. I've noticed on some on-road bikes.
Charlie Mack is saying add a servo to stick the driver's leg out, and you won't need trainers.
There you go.
They might have. Yeah, there you go. Why don't they try it? Maybe they did try it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
you know how awesome would it be to see the driver's leg go out when you go through a turn?
Well, if you could make the driver fully act like a human, then you wouldn't need the gyroscopic type stuff either. But
maybe in the next version we can have a little AI-driven driver. Like it has AI installed and it knows what.
I was gonna bring up the AI thing, but it's good that you went there.
Yeah. It learns the track as you drive around, and then next thing you know, that thing's sticking its foot out.
Well, what you do, what it is you first put the trainers on, and you have to do like several laps, right?
Yeah, right.
And then it learns where that becomes, an issue, right? It learns where those sharp leans are. And it learns all these things like the AI you're talking about.
Yeah,
then you can take them off. Then you can take them off because it learned what was going on. And there you go.
That would be so epic. It's coming. These products from RC, electronic, AI-driven, AI installed. It's coming.
Probably.
Keaton's saying there was something out there like that. Kyosho had a bike that the rider moved as well. Okay.
I mean the other thing. I mean, we talked about how Kirby was disappointed that the handlebars didn't move, right?
Oh, that's another good point. Yes. Yep. Kirby, he was really disappointed by that.
He's like, the guy doesn't move.
This is dumb.
I'm like, well, if you could put a real rider on it, we wouldn't need it. You don't need any of the rest of it.
Keaton's saying the rider leaned his knee when out as you turned. Okay.
Yeah, which is essentially this, what um, was it Charlie Mack was saying? Yeah, does it have the rider? Um, yeah, I guess the question is that I come back to, what's the obsession over the dirt bike? Like what? Why does it have to be a bike? What's wrong with the four wheels?
It
Right?
seems like a
Like,
lot of all these RC guys are
oh, I know,
Supercross
I know,
fans.
I
So
know, I get it. I get the fascination, and I think it's cool too. I had um, four wheelers and three wheelers when I was a kid. I get it, but at the same time, we're we're trying to make a dirt bike work good enough to where it kind of is close to what we already have. It's like what we already have is better. You know what I mean?
right,
It's like to me, like the thought process is kind of strange. Like it's like, well, we already have the most
a little
badass thing you
backwards
can
there.
get.
Yeah,
We already have the most badass thing you can get on, it's just on four wheels. But for some reason, we're obsessed with making it into two wheels. And it's like, well, we already have all this with four wheels, and it's really good. But for some reason, you got to put it in two wheels and then make it, um, and then you want it to do the impossible, right? Like it's a magic wand.
right.
Like you can just stand on the driver's stand and you can make it do all these things that it looks like it
That's
does. It looks like it does on TV, and you're like, well, really, if we just run the other cars we have, they do all the things that all real cars do, but better. So it's like, I guess that's kind of a little bit of my
yeah,
mindset.
and that might end up hurting that too because people. I mean, these things look cool, but when you get them out there and you're like, like next thing you know, the class dies down. But
Yeah, I mean, what we're
you
not
know what I
really
mean?
even
You get
sure of, yeah,
frustrated.
yeah,
Yeah.
what we're not even sure of is it a class?
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
that's it. Might
we're
be
not
just
even
for
sure. We're
bashing
not even
around.
sure. Yeah, we're not even sure of that yet. We have to let it. We have to let it get going. I saw the
And then you're
first race.
saying, good.
The first race I saw was RC Excitement is starting a race for them. I think in August. They said that they're going to have a dirt bike race in August. So that's the
Oh,
first race I've seen for one.
okay. Well, that'd be interesting, right?
Yeah, I guess ours would be called um, the DBNS, the Dirt Bike National Series.
Well, there you
That's what
go.
we'll have. That's what we'll have to have. The DBNS.
Well, I got to Yeah, I have to see these things in a race first, right? I just can't see a video of one going around, but it should be very interesting to be honest with you. Um, Real RC racing. So I don't know. I think it could go the other way too. I was going to mention like somebody can get this thing for the first RC, right? Go out there and just be like,
What's that now?
I, I'm thinking it could go the other way. You can control, like, let's say you're getting into RC and you buy this bike because you like motocross or whatever. You go out on the track, it's turning like a dump truck on you or something, or you just don't like the way it feels, or whatever, and you may not get into RC because of it. It could go the other way too. Could be.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it's going to get people into it, but it also can turn. I'm interested to see. I know everybody gets all hyped up over these things, like the RC10 Classic when it came out, and you know, it dies down
Hmm.
after a while. So I'm curious to see how this goes. It's going to sell like gangbusters at first, I think, but does it have the longevity? Does it have
Yeah,
that
the staying power.
staying power?
So I missed it. What you had? Keenan had a comment there. What was he? What was that last one?
Um, I think it was this one. He said it was the gateway to real RC racing.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't quite understand it. What's gateway to real RC
well, he's
racing?
saying like, especially first timers will buy this and then be like, oh, I want to try out a buggy now.
What he's saying is they'll get into real RC racing.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what we hope.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's the hope with every single RTR and every vehicle that's out there, right? So like, there's 1,000 different types of RC cars, and that all of them could potentially lead to RC racing. But maybe this kind of person that is into the dirt bike type of thing, maybe they're more of a racer at heart, and that might be kind of be our person.
Right. Joser saying that not everything's perfect and the training wheels and slow flat corner speed are what you're going to have to deal with this bike. He's cool with it. So, there you go.
And I'm not
Uh,
cool with much.
and I'm not, oh yeah, I'm not cool with much. Yeah.
He's like, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna put you in an arm bar.
He's also saying if you're just getting into RC, you're not aware that your MX is turning like a dump truck, just like when you're.
It just took one guy to say dump truck, right?
Yeah, I like that dump truck.
Nobody's even driven one, but it turns like a dump truck.
And then he has to brag about himself here, just like when you're just starting in jiu-jitsu and you don't realize I'm going to put you to sleep with a sweet collar choke.
Same.
Okay.
The collar choke.
Every time he mentions about his MMA thing or whatever, I just think of this scene from Indiana Jones where that guy's doing all this stuff with the swords and then he just pulls out a gun and shoots him. So. Kian saying yes, but the MX bike appeals to so many more people, and then they will discover RC racing. And Kian's really on this here, man. People will look for actual tracks and be like, "Oh wow, RC racing is a thing." Boom, new RC racer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what we went through. I think that was kind of the slash part of it. And you know what? If Horizon has the next slash, they're gonna get their money's worth out of this.
Is Kian
I
a
mean,
paid spokesman for them? Is that what's going on here? Is that what's
he's
going
on
on, Kian?
he's on it. Yeah, but you know what? I think he
He's got
just
that
loves.
cash hat.
Well, he loves RC racing.
No, yeah.
Obviously, like everybody, so you want to channel more over there to RC racing. I don't disagree. That's for sure.
Let's
I got
see.
2 on order.
Yeah, Jason has 2. See that?
I got 2 on
Kian
order.
says he's seeing the potential, so we'll see what happens. You don't know until it hits the market. Yeah, there is a lot of people out there that don't realize. But here's also, I don't know. There is people out there that I would show them RC videos, and they're just kind of like, okay, So there's people out there don't really. When you still show them what's going on today, it's like, when you explain the RC podcast to them, they just cannot. And then you show them a video, and they're like, "Oh, little toy cars. Oh, okay, that's great. Good luck with that podcast."
It's very interesting what draws people to this. Um, um, Here we go. This is a good question, really. But yeah, it's always interesting to see what draws people into doing this, and because just like you said, and this has been, I would say, in the last couple weeks. Like, I was on a plane talking to somebody recently. Like, I was in the aisle, they were in the center, and they were asking me what I was doing, and I was showing them some video of racing where we were. I think it was the Roar Nats. I was showing them video of the Roar Nats, and then somebody from Starbucks that I go to, they're asking me about, you know, RC or whatever, and I've showed them videos. And what's weird is you can tell when I'm showing it to them that it doesn't really mean a lot to them. And it's always kind of like when I'm showing them the video, I always feel disappointed right away because it
You
just
could tell.
doesn't.
Yeah.
I could tell. I could just
Yep.
tell that they're not that into it. And I'm just like,
Absolutely.
and I'm like, why aren't they into this? Like, what is it that it's missing to them? And maybe it's because it's something that's better seen live than it is in video, or it's
Uh,
something maybe it's better to experience. Like once you do it, or once you build it and once you're into it, it changes your perspective on it. But when I show these people the video, I can see it in their face and in their eyes that it's like,
yeah.
eh, they're just like, yeah, that's cool. And but it's just not their thing right away. You can tell, it's not my thing. Like, and it doesn't really matter to them. Uh, and
Yeah. It's
I
good.
don't know that I've ever showed a video to anybody that went out and bought the car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's
I even brought
something
friends to
else.
races and they were just like,
It's
okay, have fun with that, bro.
it's something else. There's something else to it that hooks you in. And it is, there is a personality type for this. There is something that it hits with certain people that it just does not with others. And uh, and that's what I've seen. And so, but yeah, like as Keenan said, getting it into some more racer uh, people with that racing mentality or that idea. For instance, we were just at the Visions event, and we had a main had a great try-me track that they were working there with HPI, and we had our awesome RC, the I'll say the real RC track um, that Joey built. This thing was great. It's amazing. Like the driver stand is nice for this. The track itself is great. We had some people watching. There were some spectators, but in reality, in the grand scheme of things, compared to how many people were out there wasn't that many people watching. And then the people that were doing the try me track, sure, they had some in and outs, uh, kids, parents, adults trying the cars out. But I always felt like they were coming to it because they were just bored. Like they were just coming to check it out, but they already had, the event we're at, they already had a UTV, they have a dirt bike, they have a real dirt bike, they have a
Yeah.
UTV, they have a rock bouncer, like we talked about. They have all these things already. They already have like all these cool vehicles, right? So to me, like when they came over and saw what we were doing, I think they also thought it was neat, but I think to them, they also felt like, well, I have the real thing. Like, so it's something, and it was like, yeah, I felt like there were people out there that thought it was neat and thought it was cool, but I didn't think they thought it was more neat and more cool than what they were already doing.
Right.
And it was hard for me to disagree, but to me, and I think I see it from a different way, but when I'm watching them all, I like the RC better.
Yeah.
I
You're
think
talking.
they're, yeah, I like when I look and I'm looking at one side and I see the real racing going on, and then I look over at the RC, I just see way more capability out of the RC stuff. Like I'm like, we have way more traction, we have way more power, our tracks, our obstacles, we jump way further. Like it's just like, to me, it's like on steroids or whatever. You know what I mean? It's on like, the things are just amazing. And like you watch the real cars try to accelerate up a dirt section of the hill, and they're like barely making it up, right? They're just like, they're like, it's almost looks like it's in slow motion. But then I
Mhm.
mentioned when we talked about this the other day, I went into the trailer in Live RC and I looked at it on the screen when they were filming it, and I was like, wow, the real cars look awesome on TV and the RC ones don't.
Right.
Right? That's the first thing I thought of is I was like, why, when I watch it in person, I mean, I know, but when I'm watching it in person, I'm just bored with the real stuff. And the RC one I'm super into. And then when I go and look at it on video, I'm like, oh man, the real car looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Absolutely.
And that's the other thing when I show people video of RC, that's why I guess, seeing it in person does help because I think it does look better in person than it does in video. Lots of times I go back, I was just talking about this with Spencer today, or was it yesterday? He was commenting, he was going back on YouTube and watching a lot of videos that Hannah had put up on our channel, and he's like, I went went back and watched the Roar Nats, and he's just like, he's like, it was like kind of a lot better in my mind than it was when I went back and watched it, and I'm like, that's pretty common. Like it is like because you can't replicate what you're feeling at the time. You can't replicate being in the moment and not knowing the result either. Um, but yeah, it was just interesting that it's hard to capture that part of RC.
Jason's saying videos don't get people. Hand them a radio and let them try it. Is the way. And I'm not sure if that's exactly the way either because I've done that in the past and people are like, I can't do this. Done. Never. You know what I mean? Like they just never got into it.
Because there is
But
another component to it. There is something about people's personality that draws them to this, and it's not for everybody, which is fine. It's like um, some people like to go out on their bicycle and run, and go 300 miles in a day, and it's like, well, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I would, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just
yeah.
some things appeal to some people. Um, it's like when I was thinking about this, my dad a story my dad told me one day, and it's like to him, he's like, I remember one time me and Mike, we had to lay block by ourselves, and we were doing a retaining wall fence in the backyard, and just me and him together, we laid 2,600 blocks that day. We labored for ourselves. We put the mud on the scaffolding. We laid all the blocks, 2,600. He's like, I remember that night. He's like, I think I woke up and I had these heart palpitations going on. And
Hmm.
but when he's telling me about this, he's like, that was a good day. You know what I mean? Like he's
Right.
like, that was a great day. We laid like 2,600 block by ourselves, and yeah, I don't know, something was going on with my heart that night, but hey, that was a great day. Like you know what I'm saying? And like, so it's just like some things just appeal to people in a different way, and and um, and it's about the numbers. It's about finding those people because it's like 10 out of 10. It's not the thing for 10 out of 10. Maybe it is for, maybe it's one out of every 1,000 or one out of every couple hundred. But you got to introduce it to numbers, right? It's the numbers that that contribute to it. So if you get into this dirt bike or whatever the dirt bike of the moment might be, and then it turns into they want to, you know, transition from there, then you got one, right?
Yeah. Keaton saying that's because we don't use our professionals in a professional way. Guys in straw hats, t-shirts, and shorts, no style, no hype, no Pizzazz. Pizzas. No pizzas. Wow, really? Because I see everybody in. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch much of it now, but aren't you guys all wearing your team shirts? And is putting a name on the back of the shirt still a thing? And then,
Not for me.
aren't you guys all decked out in your race stuff? I mean, unless I'm reading this wrong, maybe that's what I'm doing there.
I think he's just talking about having it presented in a little bit more of a professional way.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Live RC is doing a great job of that.
Well, the visions when they edit that together, I'm sure it's going to look really nice.
Yeah, Key and Sane Pro racers look like spectators at RC races, not participants, and that's the first impression potential spectators see. It's amateur at best. Really? Man,
I
you
guess
guys seem like you're all decked out in your
Well,
shit.
no, I guess what would be the next step? I guess you'd have to have like a full
Race suit?
What do you like a driver's suit, or like
And a helmet.
or you go to the X-ray, you go to the suits.
I mean, look at Ernie.
On.
You know, Matt Francis said in the past, Ernie was like one of the first when he was on the pod. He said Ernie, and obviously Ernie was one of the first people to introduce like, you know, the team shirts and you know, getting the Trinity drivers decked out. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you guys copied.
What did we copy?
Trinity was like one of the first to like really invest in banners and T-shirts and, you know, making the pro drivers look like pro drivers out there.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yes, I could go back to that interview, Jason. Come on, man. Ernie's the first one to really invest in all that. You guys had your shirts, but I mean, Ernie was really apparel was like the Trinity thing.
Yeah.
All right, don't hate. All right, Keen's saying that he doesn't want them to wear a suit, but maybe a dress code. Man, I don't. So again, I'm going to ask Jason: are you guys? When I'm watching it, you guys are all decked out in your gear, your sponsorship shirts, and your what color shorts are that now?
Well, you would probably have to have some kind of like a matching. There'd have to be sort of a matching ensemble that you're kind of putting together to look a little bit more. So, yeah, like I guess you would have to have more of a printed style shirt, shorts.
Shorts? Oof! Don't do that.
You know, but it would have to be. I think what he's talking about is those maybe like more of like the printed stuff.
Well, I'm sure he'll chime in.
Like the crew shirts we have. I mean, the first crew shirt I had, which I think was
polo shirts. Yeah, I don't know about that, guys. I like the t-shirts.
What I had? Well, I mean, our first crew shirt was I think in like 2010. Maybe
I don't think spectators care about what you're looking like up there.
I don't know.
Just say you agree with me. Billy Bruce is saying wear Dickies, maybe. There you go.
Dickies. Plenty of people were wearing Dickies already.
Jason, you need a Chuck Norris figure on your bike. There you go.
He's right.
Kian is saying, Kian really chiming in here, Kian. He's saying it makes all the difference. Okay. I'm not quite sure what he wants. Kian, I'm not quite sure. I'm okay with the t-shirts. I think
we got to get the photo sent over.
I'm fine with what the guys are wearing. I mean, like you see.
How about Masami's outfits? Masami had outfits.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to do.
Masami's he had his own outfit.
He had a race suit. He had a race suit.
He had a race. You know, his dad used to custom paint all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I know. Yeah, but I mean, I don't want a bunch of guys up there doing that. That's his look.
You don't want me to have my flames?
Yeah, I don't want your dad painting your t-shirt for you. Well, not your T-shirt, but your suit, right?
He's like, after I laid that 2,600 blocks, I went ahead and made this race suit for you. It was a good
Yeah.
day.
No, let's not start doing that. F1 pit crew shirts. I don't know. I'm
Well, the
fine with
pit
the
crew, well,
T-shirts.
the pit crew shirt is the crew shirts that we have.
Paul Wynn saying that Kian probably wants. I'm guessing he's saying Kian RCGP. What would they do?
Uh,
Would they do polo
um,
shirts type thing? Because somebody mentioned polo shirts or pit crew shirts.
well, they had the, I think is it sublimated is the terminology, I think, is of the is basically of the crew shirt. What I'm talking about is a crew shirt.
Yeah.
Is it's printed all over and then it's sewn together. Um,
Nah.
that's what kind of I kind of think that's what the F1 crew shirts are.
All right. Well, maybe it works. I don't know. I just don't think that has anything to do with spectators, but or getting people in RC. But I think the MX bike has a better chance. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe Corey Jordan saying left tire salute by the way, Corey. Hoochie Daddy shorts. So there, maybe that would do it. What do you think of that, Kian?
Maybe that'll do it.
That would be very interesting. Joe saying RC GP was almost there. Almost. Unfortunately, JQ was too involved, even though it wasn't his. Okay. I know nothing about that series, so other than what you guys were mentioning about it.
Yeah, I mean, I followed it a lot. I think that's kind of what, obviously that is a great series for Keenan and the podcast and stuff. And I definitely watched the videos. I checked it all out and talked to David, uh, Keenan, JQ. Yeah, we all talked about it, and those guys experienced it firsthand. Um, it wasn't a success. I mean, it wasn't. It didn't work out so far. Not that it wasn't cool, not that the videos didn't look cool, but ultimately it has to pay for itself. And I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
maybe there'll be another shot at it down the road, but there was definitely some cool elements to it. But
So it's not. Yeah, it's not around no more.
yeah, I don't know if it's officially never like coming back. I just know that not happening this year.
Well, maybe we need a different dress code. Maybe it's the shirts, Kian. We got to change the shirts.
Get those new shirts.
Because Kian's saying that at JQ Racing there was an actual dress code. You had to have the collared shirt. Man, I couldn't stand dress codes. I was in Catholic school and they always made you wear like a tie and stuff. I was always down at the nun's office, just getting absolutely beaten because I wouldn't wear my tie, my clip-on tie. So I wouldn't do good with a team. If I was on a team and they had a dress code, I would not do good with that at all. I don't think I'm alone on that. But so they had to have collared shirts. You had to wear black shirts or pants and a JQ Racing hat and black shoes. Man, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Like they actually had a dress code. What happens if you showed up to a race and you didn't have black shoes? Would they tell you you can't race? Or the black shoes is really. So when you're saying shoes, are you saying like a dress shoe or could it be a sneaker?
I think it was a sneaker. Yeah.
You know, when I think of dress codes, I just think of X-Ray. X-Ray should be wearing suits at the races. That would be the way to go.
The suits,
Yeah,
that's pretty classic.
the suits is glad that X-Ray has it down, man. They just need to be doing that at the race.
like that was like
And you know what team they're on when you see the suits. It's X-Ray.
I'm a RC car driver, but I wear a suit.
Yeah.
It's like
So they're saying making it look professional for TV. Well, I don't know. I think the shirts look cool today with all the sponsors on it. The hat, I'm good with that, man. I don't think there's anything. I never looked at the drivers and thought, man, we need to spiff that up a little. But that's just my opinion. somebody mentioned here, Jason, that it was Matt Olson. He said I had a custom MIP race shirt made that were printed like motocross shirts. Jason used to call it the shirt, and guys would make fun of it, but I liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Brent used to make fun of my crew shirt. The one,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he called it the super shirt. I could go get mine out of the closet.
Keen saying the statement's not about. Yeah, we realize that, but I'm just saying. I'm talking about in general. I don't think we need a dress code. I think they look fine.
Let me go get I'll get my shirt, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you do that.
Go do that, Jason. And can you still hear me out there, Jason, while you're out there in a different room?
I can hear you.
So, talking about the shirts, though, and the mechanic shirts, remember those? So,
Yeah.
Matt Francis had one made up, and Kirby Han actually had one of them. Matt gave him one, a Trinity one, and it was gray with the Trinity logo on it, and that thing actually looked really cool. But it's about getting on ESPN. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. We've been talking about ESPN since the 90s. Hasn't happened, not going to happen. Don't want to be negative, but I'm fine with Live RC doing it. Just let Live RC do it, and they're trying to get it out there to with this vision thing, right, Jason? They got to go into some channel, so
yeah.
I'm fine
Speed
with that.
Sport.
Yeah, we don't need ESPN. They're a bunch of clowns.
Here's my
anyway.
shirt.
Well, there you go. That's let me go pull that up here. Yeah, there we go.
I think this was my favorite one.
So that's what Kian wants. He wants you guys to be wearing, all the drivers to be wearing that. But you got to put all the sponsors on there though too. So they can't do that.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite one.
Yeah.
But I
like the LA Night shirt better.
LA baby. Yeah.
Wow, this pod.
So
I'm really tired. So this is
that that was probably my favorite one. I like wearing them. I think it does look better.
Okay. Well, John Bolton saying that was the best shirt. Very professional, Jason.
Thank you.
Kian's chiming in. He likes that too. See?
Yep. That's I got like 20. I think I have at least 20 of these different things. We made new ones for Spain. We had new ones there. We do them for every Worlds.
Tim Barth has a good picture of Jeff Keaton in one.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to do new ones for every Worlds. We're working on some right now for the Worlds.
For the crew, like the for you and
yeah,
the factory employees.
Yeah.
But the drivers, listen.
The Dickies. Who said it was? We need to get the Dickies out.
Yeah, somebody said that. Joe's there saying, I'm glad I'm not a nut pro driver. I either wear my J Concept shirt or AE shirt and call it a day. Or if it's a spec fifth scale race, I wear my Old Navy tank top, suns out, guns out. Oh, man. And each driver wears some color pants, matching hats. I'm out, Kian. I love you, bro, but I'm not. I am not buying it. Just no way. No, the drivers are fine. They got the shirt looks fine. Sean Ireland checking in. Jason, have to pay to get everyone's shirts tailored so they look like Total Wolf.
That's right.
This is crazy. Sean, I never thought we'd be talking about a dress code.
We got the top dog, Sean Ireland, in right now.
Matt Olson saying he sent me a photo of the MIP shirt. Okay. Yeah, Kian, leave it to you when we're talking about shirts. I'm sure your next podcast, you devote the whole podcast to the dress code. Dress code. I'm telling you. Yeah, and the thing is that Motorama, when I was sitting in this is a few years ago, when I was in the stand sitting and watching the races, I think the kids love it, but they didn't understand what was going on because of the IFMAR qualifying. So they were lost. They didn't understand why that truck wasn't, they didn't understand what was going on. It was more, Motorama was better when it was heads up, because that's what that event should be, really. It turned into like a pro event, and it just needs to be an event where you're showing off RC to the massive crowds that comes through that area.
Well,
And just give them a heads up racing, like, because it's just not relating to them. Like, they don't know what's going on. Because when they say car one go, car two, they're like, what's going on here? And then they just walk away, But not everybody, but
everyone walks away. So,
Sean saying, if we can just find a way to keep super glue off our shorts when gluing tires, that would be a start.
Man, I hate when that happens. You'll have like a really nice shirt or everything you like, and then you get glue on it. Man, that was the worst. And you got that spot, and you always feel like you can get it off, but you never really can. Like you're like picking at it. You're like trying to like.
Yeah, you're like, that's gonna come off.
I can get this. And it never works. But what's weird is like you'll try forever because you still think I can do it. This feels like I'm making a difference right now. It's gonna come off. Nope, it doesn't.
Let's see. John Bolton saying it's bad when a guy fishing for bass look more professional. It's bad when a guy fishing for bass look more professional. It's hard to take someone as a professional when they're dressed like roadie for Metallica. At Metallica. I think he's.
I just got Metallica tickets. I just bought Metallica tickets.
What? What?
I did. Tickets for Metallica. God. It's not until November though.
All right.
So I had to get them in advance, but
so Allison wanted to go see that.
No.
You?
Yeah, Metallica.
Wow, I just don't picture you at a Metallica concert, but okay.
I think I've been to like 3 of them. I think.
How come I'm just finding out about this?
Yeah, it's.
All right, well,
it's good stuff.
This is unbelievable. Got my mind off of the Trinity. So.
That was our hot topic, man.
That was our hot topic. Then we got into the MX bikes. So, Sean, while you're in here, somebody had a question. What's AE's next move? I guess you can't say on the pod. So, but they're saying, hey, AE, how are you going to answer that one?
3-wheelers.
Yeah, there you go.
Make a 3-wheeler.
Yep.
Bring back Tech Talk and make a 3-wheeler.
There you go. Shane saying, my wife just heard the super glue comment, cracked up laughing. She thought I was the only one with glue spots all over my shorts. Well, you're not. So
no,
definitely not.
That stuff.
I used to like peeling off your fingertip, and it was like a perfect fingerprint. Then you're like, ooh, look at that.
Yeah, that's some amazing stuff.
There you go. Sean's response to the low C MX bike: we're always improving our craft.
What a corporate answer.
Corporate answer. We'll call him Corporate Sean from now on.
Just come in and...
Yeah, hearing Gotti say Trinity during the podcast is like a drinking game. Well, I'm sorry, but Trinity is the hot topic.
There it is again.
Play that game, Matt. See how drunk you get. Does it count that I'm wearing the Trinity shirt? The old school shirt that everybody used to be after back in the day.
Not the Godzilla.
No, this is, well, yeah, but I mean, this is the black team shirt that people used to always call for and be like, oh man, when are you getting more of those in, please?
That was it, huh?
Yep. Jeff Todd, Sean Ireland, always involving. There you go. AE, always evolving. You like that?
Oh, yeah, I actually just put it together.
There
It
you
took
go.
me a second.
All right. Well, it's getting late here.
Matt's got, what picture does he have? What car does he have in there? That's my picture. Matt's
What?
using my picture.
Oh, I forgot. He's
In
using your picture.
that picture in Matt's like his profile picture is my picture of Masami's car.
Oh my god,
What's that?
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if he. Um,
I can't even see it on my computer screen. I can't imagine you looking on your phone.
yeah, Masami's RC10. You know what we haven't talked about yet?
Oh no, what? Dress code?
96 Nats. 96 Nats.
Way to bring that in. There you go. Never forget it. How about
You
that
know what's
Napster
weird?
drinking game? 96
You know
Nats.
what's weird is until I started doing this podcast and you guys started talking about that race, I hated that race.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm just like that was like the worst one. But
You mean you hated it before, like when you got there, or like what went down? Like you just didn't like the whole situation?
yeah, everything about it.
Hmm.
I I didn't like anything about it. I didn't like the way
Trying to
my
log
cars
in.
worked there. I didn't like the qualifying. The track was okay, um, although when you look at it today, it's funny because it's so like it's tiny. Like the jumps are very small. It's just amazing what we used to do back then.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, the race has gotten better by talking to you guys about it. Um, it was something I just completely like. The whole thing with the four-wheel drive stuff we talked about with somehow me winning the first main and putting the double X4 um, away forever.
You had your chance, bro.
Yep. Honestly,
And that is a
that
picture that
just
took place.
became,
Yep.
it just took such a great, uh, it's been such a great topic of something I never really thought would have come up. Uh, just kind of interesting, I guess.
Hmm.
You're still cruising the old Trinity Online website.
Yeah, I'll be on way back all night here, just
Um,
checking stuff out.
David Spachette on the splash page, we used to call it.
Yep.
Remember that when it was like you couldn't go to the website right away? You had to first go to a website before a website page.
I do
That was the
not.
thing. That was the thing when for a while you had a splash page. So you'd like type in teamtrinity.com and it would have
Right.
this graphic.
Right
And
here.
it would say teamtrinity.com. And then you had to click on that to actually get into the website, which,
I don't recall that.
yeah, I think they call it a splash page.
Leon saying, good old Wayback Machine. What's the first J Concepts site look like?
Yeah, I did a screenshot at several of them, and we were talking about earlier. We had a lot more variations than I ever thought, but there was a first one I did that I did worked on. I edited myself, and it was built initially by a guy in California, and I just did it for fun. I had like a Michael Jordan tab, I had like RC car tab, I had like stuff. Whoever I was like, we were doing some work stuff for Team Losi at the time, so I was putting up like some body stuff we were working on, and it was just kind of like I just did it for fun, like And then when we actually started J Concept stuff, then we had to get a real website, which David Jor built our first real website. Um, and I loved it. When he built the first website, man, I loved um, his work. I loved what he did on the first website. And then it kind of evolved from there to the point where we changed it, and we kind of did what we could do for a while to kind of give it a little facelift over the years. And to the point where then we did a whole redo. Then we had to redo that. And then recently we launched another one, which Rich built. Whew. It's been a process.
And you have to trust the process.
The toughest part about any of this kind of stuff is it's writing and it's photos. You got to have good photos and you got to have writing to make it all come together. And even if you pay somebody to build you a website, they're still going to ask you for the photos, and it's still going to ask you for the photos and the writing, right? No matter how much you post, it's like, or no matter how much you pay, they're still going to ask you for photos and writing.
Tim Barth asked Jason about a good memory from FZRC.
Oh, that's easy. It has to be the tent that he built over the track. I've never seen anything like it. Marty, I think it was his name, he was obsessed with covering this outdoor track, which had it had great dirt, had great Florida dark red clay. But he wanted to put a roof over it. And he put poles in some of the corners. I believe he put one in the center, and then he essentially just got like a bunch of canvas material, like a tarp, right? And he hooked all the tarps together, and he put like a makeshift tent over the top of this track. And I just couldn't believe that he got it good enough to actually do it. But he eventually had to take it down. But that was, I still have the photos on my phone of it. That was the best memory. And I had some good races there. Racing with JR Mitch, Damon, Paul, Ryan Eckert, Leon, who was just on. Leon was Felix Law. I think that's when we first started seeing a little bit of AJ Marasco coming out there too. I remember I ran some vintage RC10 stuff out there. We had some great races at FZRC. That was probably one of our favorite stops there for a while on the Super Cup. Was going to that track, and we had fun. We went down there one night. I forget what's the famous beach right there. I guess it could be Sarasota. I forget the name of what was down there, but we had a great time down there too. So it was great.
BJ saying, I remember buying a lot of brush motors. There was a P2K, Green Machine, and a couple others. Good old brush days.
Yeah. Couldn't beat it at that time. I mean, those were the motors, right? I mean,
don't forget Midnight.
That's my favorite name.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yep. I mean, what's funny about the whole thing is with Trinity is they're really known at this. It was monster horsepower, right?
Right.
That was the thing, and Gil Losi won the very first world championship with Trinity modified, and then Reedy won the first two-wheel world championship with Jay Halsey, I believe. But as time went on, what was really so popular for Trinity was all these stock motors. These generations, like you're talking about, the green machine, the slot machine, the midnight. That's what I remember more than anything is those stock motors, not the modified motors. And those are the ones that you won, like the Joel Johnsons and the Kinwalds. They had all these signature editions, but what I remember mostly are the stock motors.
There you go. P2K. Got it up on the screen. D4 modifieds.
They had some ugly ones.
What?
Yeah, there was some motors that were really ugly.
You're probably thinking the spec ones. Stock ones look cool, man.
The green one, gosh, that was hideous.
The green machine?
Yeah, that thing was hideous. And then anything with too much gold, ugly.
So you didn't like the P2K?
No.
Oh man, I like that one. It looked cool. Midnight was awesome though.
Yeah, I think it kind of had the right amount of like gimmick and like
I thought the
look.
P2K was cool though. PK.
The slot machine, that was another one that was ugly with the red.
Yeah, yeah.
That thing was ugly.
In 1985, Matt's saying we used to water dip the stock motors to break them in. I have no idea if it worked. Yeah. Yep, I did that.
I did that when I first started running my monster trucks again.
I remember seeing the tip in car action back then, and I was like, what? So I tried it, and I was like, damn. I don't know if it really helped much, but.
Yeah, same with me. I'm not sure that it really, but hey, you tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some
Randy's saying he
ugly.
still has some of the old Green Machine 2 and X-Star stock motors in the package.
I wonder what the X Star. I don't remember that one.
Trying to think.
Green Machine 2.
Corey Jordan wants to know what's the difference between Trinity and Trinity Platinum.
I don't think. I think Trinity Platinum is a battery. I think a Platinum was a battery.
Yeah, I don't.
Right?
It wasn't a brand. It wasn't like a.
Yeah, I think Platinum was just like a battery.
Platinum batteries.
Yeah, I think it was just a battery.
Unless the new Trinity has something with Platinum, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I think it was just like a version of a battery was a Platinum. But like I said,
a lot of people here in chat. John is saying, I still water break in my Euro truck motor and use Black Death con drops. Damn.
I need to get that. I need to have John break in my monster truck motors for me then. Seems like he's got it figured out.
It's awesome. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun, man. It's getting a little late. I'm getting a little worn down. Matt's probably drunk now if he's playing the Trinity. How many times did I say Trinity? Trinity. Take a shot.
Oh no, man. He's done now.
But yeah, kind of a sad day, but like you said, I got to look on the positive side of it. They kept it going. Horizon.
Yeah.
What was going to happen to it?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know that.
It's better that it's still around than it just disappearing, so.
Yeah, I agree. You don't know. And ultimately, you want the name to be out there. And if that was the only or the best option, then that was good.
Yeah.
But, we don't know the rest. We don't know the whole story.
Whoever this Matt guy is, he is Matt. Who is this Matt on YouTube? He has some hilarious quotes from movies that he's putting up here too. Making me lose all these comments though. They're moving up on me too fast. He's also saying, did Trinity buy RevTech? My favorite 1990 mod motor was the green can RevTech that was 15 quad. There you go.
I think Trinity did acquire the RevTech name.
Right. And then
Was
Neil
it Neil
McCurdy when I was
McCurdy?
there. Yeah, Neil McCurdy was working there when I was there.
Yeah, so Neil went to work for Trinity, and then I think they absorbed that name RevTech.
Yeah.
You know what's ironic is I bet you there was times where Trinity was like viewed as like how Horizon is today, right? Where it's
absolutely.
like where people were like, oh, Trinity, you know, buying up RevTech and you know, like, you know what I mean? Like they were probably similar thoughts probably were in those days about things like that. But
Evil
yeah,
Empire,
just,
man.
mm-hmm. The good old days.
Alex Sturgeon saying he had the perfect midnight motor back in the day. Club race killer.
Alex still working on the hair. I noticed he's got
I see that in there, man.
He's working on the hair. He was telling me he was gonna. He coined a phrase that I'd never heard before, called the frony tail. So he said that he could make. His goal was by last summer was to get a ponytail, and he was close at our race, I believe. But he's got to be really working the ponytail by now.
I don't know. Alex. I ain't gonna make the dress code if they implement this in RC. So you might have to
He's
shave
gonna have
that
to
in.
tighten up.
You have to tighten your game up. If Kean has his way, there's gonna be a dress code in RC, and you guys are all screwed.
You're done.
You're done. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I don't know how to end it other than
Pat Riley. Pat Riley is like our model. Gotta have the hair slicked back.
slick back. Yeah. Pat Riley style. Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholas, the golfer.
Yep.
Yeah, great quotes that you're throwing up there, Matt. But Alex is saying that you could be jealous of that hair, but there is a lot of gray in that. So, there you go.
You know what? I just saw a commercial, the Just for Men, man. They got that figured out. You can get that stuff brushed right out.
And Joe's there saying he has zero hair. Well, you can get a can of that. I saw a commercial with a spray paint. Looks like, you just spray it. You'll be fine.
Got like that LeBron setup.
Oh, God.
Right? Like whenever he does a movie or something, it's perfect.
Yeah.
He had his hair perfect. And then you got these people on the internet that they take all his pictures and stuff.
Yeah, and it looks terrible. And I'm thinking to myself, if LeBron can't get hair, then no one can.
Well, that's a good question, right?
Right.
Is you see a lot of these magic formulas and different things you can do to regrow hair, but it's like LeBron doesn't regrow his hair. I mean, it's like
he's a billionaire.
You would think, yeah, he's a billionaire. He should have the best of the best, and they still say that he was like painting it. it's like so. The best thing a billionaire can do to protect his hair is to paint it. He got some of that Rust-Oleum. He got the Rust-Oleum paint from like Ace Hardware. It's like, I totally agree. It's like, if a billionaire doesn't have this figured out, maybe it's not the real thing.
Yeah, it's not happening. So that was 245, guys. I appreciate.
I had the funniest.
Okay, well, never mind. Okay, go ahead.
My friend telling me once about how he went to one of those hair club things for men, and he said that he got his hair piece, and he's like, I was so damn self-conscious with that on, way worse than I was when I didn't have any hair. He's like, he said it worked the exact opposite. He's like, I showed up and I had my hairpiece on, and everyone just looked at me like I was crazy and like what had happened to me. And he's like, I was so nervous about it. He's like, I just took it all off.
Oh man. Yeah, there's no hope for us guys losing our hair. So, all right. Can I end the pod now? Is it a
I
good
don't know.
time to
We
end
got
it? Yeah.
something else we could do.
All right. Well, Jason Santos just entered, and he said we can get started now. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, you forgot to hit record anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason, we gotta get something. We gotta get
I,
something going with him.
I mean, I can scroll up here. I got other stuff that I didn't get to, but
Jason, I bought another RC10T. I'm going crazy.
uh,
I don't know what can be done. Is there
the
some kind
disease.
of like uh, anonymous thing I can go to so I don't buy any more RC10Ts or RC10s? It's I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Here you go. Here you go, Jason. Chili Duncan, Gotti trying to wrap this up, and Rowan pulling off the Columbo phrase. Just one more thing.
Oh,
That's so true.
just one more
Oh,
thing.
just one more thing, sir. Oh man. Alex Sturgeon saying the new track at the Plex is sick for next week. Whoops.
Oh no.
Oop.
Does he mean it has whoops
Or whoops, he let out
or he let out too much information?
Jason Santos saying it's a sickness, Jason. You're just
It
gonna have to
is.
deal with it. Yeah. Alex Sturgeon, yep. Okay. Yep to what? Matt's saying, love the podcast, Jason and Gotti. Why you keep limiting my posts? I'm trying to bring the funny. Yeah, you are. You are bringing the fun. I'm laughing here reading this stuff. He's got a tons of movie quotes. So you're telling me there's a chance. Dumb and Dumber.
I've been using lately, on Instagram, when you go to the messages on Instagram, there's like, it's a thing called, it says note.
I saw that on your Instagram and I had no idea. I think I responded, but I didn't know if you got the response.
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
really
understand that. But
weird.
yeah, you see this
It's,
little thing and I'm like, what is that above there? And I clicked on it and I
yeah.
forget
So
what you said though.
it just says note. So now what I've been doing is Googling Lone Wolf McQuade quotes, and I just put them in there. I don't know what it's
Okay.
for. It just says note, and you just click on it. And I've just been filling it in with a Lone Wolf McQuade quote. There's several people that are like, they message me when they see it, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, what does this mean?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a quote from Lone Wolf McQuade." You know,
Are you
because
okay?
yeah, because they're just the most random things
Right.
from the movie. So I could see how people, definitely think I'm all out there, but I'm just Googling it and putting it in there.
Yeah, I did see that and I'm like, man, what is that about? I'm just throwing these quotes up by Matt so that way you can't say I didn't do that.
I like the one previous that you had there.
Justin Juber says I'm late. What did I miss? Yeah, we're starting over again anyway.
You missed a good meme.
Yeah. So this is the quote you like. How the hell did you get the beans above the Frank? Or
No,
something
no,
about
the one before that.
Napoleon Dynamite. Dynamite.
Yeah.
Napoleon says, "Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day."
Yeah.
Need some Beavis and Butthead quotes. All right, what else you got, Jason?
You wrapping it up,
Are
or
you guys heading out to? Well, obviously you're not heading anywhere this weekend. July 4th weekend.
they got the Monster Jam World Finals? We have some drivers doing the RC version of that this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. And you're not going to that?
I'm not going to that. We have some drivers there, but
Yeah, seems like something you'd be at for sure.
but we next week is kind of our big thing. Is the Bigfoot Open House is the end of next week. That's over in Pacific, Missouri, and Fred Reed, who I sold Bigfoot 4 to him, and he has been working on what's the right word? Restore. Him and Gateway Classic Mustang have been working on restoring Bigfoot 4, and they plan to debut it next Saturday in Pacific, Missouri. It's been 5 years they've been working on the truck, so this has been a 5-year restoration, and this is going to be the debut. It's also going to be the classic, like one of my heroes anyway, from the old days was Jim Kramer, the monster truck driver. It's going to be, he's 73 years old, and he decided he wanted to drive Bigfoot again. So they're going to let him drive Bigfoot one last time. So that's going to be the last ride, they're calling it. So that's next Saturday, same event. So we got a lot of cool stuff happening and at that event. So Rich is going to drive the van up this year. And then I'm going to fly up on next Thursday. So I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leave Sunday. Fred's going to be there all week working on Bigfoot 4, trying to get it ready for the debut. So I'll be bouncing, on Thursday. I'll get up there, and we actually had, before the Bigfoot Open House, we're having a little RC get together at the the Quality Inn in Pacific, Missouri. We're just people that are just build RC trucks and cars and whatever. They want to do a display and in the parking lot. So we're going to do that on Friday. I'm bringing my trucks up for that. So
nice.
Kind of like really looking forward to all that. It's a little bit different than what we normally do at the races, and dress code should be kind of loose. So
dress code.
Gonna be wearing my Bigfoot apparel. Gonna have our own special shirt out there. Gonna be giving away some special shirts. Might have to get you one of those. I think it'll be something you'll be interested. It would look good on you, I think.
Okay. Well, nothing really does look good on me, but that's interesting. All right, I'll give it a shot.
I think this shirt, the special shirt, is going to look good on you. It's going to be better than my LA Knight shirt.
What? Okay, I trust you.
And so we got some good stuff going on. I'm pretty excited for that. And then after that, we're going to kick into the E Nationals, the E Roar Nationals. Wicked weekend.
Yeah, and Justin Juber says, Jason, are you coming to Rome, New York?
Yes.
Gotti says he might.
Ooh. I am going.
Yeah, Jubert's trying to get me up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could use you. Come on, man. We can.
When is this?
What is I think it is the second weekend of July. I'm using my phone, so I don't have my calendar.
No.
But
Jubert will chime in. He'll give us the dates.
It's the second or third weekend in July. But
all right, how far is Rome, New York for me, Jubert?
Oof.
He knows where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the E Nationals.
Yeah. I always use the word might.
Yeah.
Just Jubert says it's July something. He doesn't even know.
There you go.
Jubert, are you racing? I mean, I don't even know if he's racing anymore now. It seems like he's.
It's like the second or third weekend of July. Is this?
Yeah, look it up, somebody. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean,
just let me know,
Jason.
And I need to find out. Oh, it's 4 to 5 hours for me. Well, guess what?
You're flying.
Yeah. Yeah. Jubert's not racing. I guess he's not racing anymore.
Oh man. That's too bad.
All right, Joe Zaire saying, "Have a good night, boys. Good RC therapy, but not over it yet. He needs to write out a podcast of my own. Need to write out a podcast of my own. Not sure
Yeah,
what
we
that
wrote
means.
this one out.
Yeah, okay, so he's saying,
You gotta have a
plan
show.
for a podcast? Who the hell? Last time I did that was 2012. I think we ended the whole thing in 2013 and we just went on the fly. The days of planning out the pod. Oof.
Joe needs to get us on his podcast. Can we go on there? Take over?
I don't know. You haven't been on the Ran Out of Talent podcast?
No. We need to be on there, me and you.
I don't know if you want me on there, but
Yeah, we could take over.
okay. All right. Make it happen, Joe.
We're like, you mean our podcast?
Yeah. Don't write it out though. We do things on the fly. We don't.
Hold on, let me get my script.
All right. Well, am I allowed to leave now, Jason?
I don't know. I'm just trying to keep delaying you from going to play more video games. You already hit your quota today. It was 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I'm gonna go on the Wayback Machine because there's a lot more dates I want to go through to watch.
A lot more Trinity stuff that there's.
Check out the old Trinity stuff. It's a sad day.
Don't forget
for me,
your shot. Don't forget to do a shot.
Yeah.
Anytime you say Trinity.
Trinity.
Oof. He's done.
Poor Matt. Long live Trinity, John says. There you go. Well, we wish Trinity the best of luck with Horizon.
All the best of luck in the world.
All the best. I hope they do it right. Let's just put it that way. They got to treat that name with a lot of respect. And Matt's saying, how about a Hot Wings Challenge type podcast for a future show? No, I can't do that anymore, dude.
How does that work? It's like
I have
as
no
many
idea.
as you can eat.
I don't know. Back in the day, I could do that. Not anymore.
So what did maybe it's just as many as you can eat type of thing?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a hot wing. I've had wings. But
That's all I used to eat back in the day was hot wings, but nothing.
I can't do hot.
I can't do them anymore.
Yeah.
If I do, I have to be next to a hospital.
There you go.
2:45.
Right.
Thanks for everybody joining us. We appreciate it. There was a lot of people in here tonight and checking it out and chatting with us. Don't forget, I put up I think I'll have the audio version up tomorrow sometime on Saturday afternoon because I'm going to go and relax a little and browse the old Trinity webpage. And we will catch you guys next week before Jason heads out to the Monster Truck Show.
Bigfoot Open House.
Bigfoot Open House, that's it. And yeah, we're knocking them out in a row, buddy. We're doing it.
Yep.
So far, hanging in there.
The road to 300.
Road to 300, guys.
We're still there.
Appreciate everybody joining us. Catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Long live Trinity.
The king.